What's up, buddy boy?
Not much.
How we doing?
Alright.
Good, good. Today we're going to talk about the banning of violent video games. Trump wants to seriously decrease the glorification of violent video games. Just the glorification of violence in America altogether. What do you think? He hasn't been prepped. It's funny, I told him we were going to do a video on this, and he goes, well, I want to see the clip of Trump saying this. So I showed him the clip, and what's so funny?
What he said. Every time he was saying something else, he was like,
God bless the people in Toledo. God bless their families. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was going on there, Trump. I don't know if was that supposed to be tears? Was he supposed to be sad?
I thought he was sad, but it's like when you're rich, I don't know about that.
Maybe he was stuffed up. You know what I mean? And I'm not making light of the shootings. We're talking about Trump's demeanor. Just it was. I don't know. What do you think? So let's say Trump were to ban video games, violent video games. How would you feel about that?
Well,
First off, what do you mostly play? Tell me what you play.
Fortnite and Mario Maker.
Those are your most played games.
Yeah,
Do you feel Fortnite's violent?
not really.
No? How about Gears of War? Do you play Gears of War?
Mhm.
Is that violent?
Yes.
Is Call of Duty violent?
I mean, I guess sort of.
Sort of?
Yeah, the newer games I found sort of violent, but World at War, that was one of the most violent ones I said.
World of War. What games don't I let you play?
Games with nudity.
Games with nudity? What else? Is there any violent video game you can think of that I don't let you play?
Not really.
No? I let you play GTA?
Well, GTA isn't really that violent, is it? It's not like you can blow people's legs off and stuff.
GTA isn't violent. Dude, I don't let you play GTA for a reason. It's because the subject matter is very, very mature. It's not for kids. I mean, I let you play Call of Duty because I feel it's very arcadey. I actually feel like it's kind of for kids. You know, as a kid, what did we do? We played war. You guys that are my age, I'm 38. We used to play war. We used to play cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers. We were always shooting each other. I feel like that's what Call of Duty is. You know what I mean? If they had Call of Duty when we were kids, we would have been eating that up. You know what I mean? GTA is a different beast altogether. I don't let you play GTA because I feel the subject matter is much more, much too mature for a little kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've seen a bunch of my friends in Murder Beast, who was even younger than me, is playing GTA.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And you know, some of the I believe it's all about context. I let him play Gears because it's good versus evil. Yes, it's gory, but it's not realistic gore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I feel like the characters are action figures. I mean, honestly. It's like everybody looks like they're on steroids. I'm just going to say that. But it's like once you kill them, it's like I get it when you shoot somebody's head off, but why do they blow into pieces when you shoot them with the shotgun when I feel like that's just way too much like it was a toy that you just played with and just
yeah, like it breaks apart like an action figure.
Yeah.
You got a torso, you got the legs you can pull off, and then there's just the blood.
Yeah.
You know? But Gears is violent. There's no way around it. You know what I mean? Gears is a violent video game. But again, I feel the context is everything. I feel the subject matter is everything. And this, it's humans being invaded by these, you know, these, what are they? Can you even call them aliens?
underground dwellers.
By the Horde or whatever, you know, and it's basically good versus evil, and it just doesn't have a realistic tone. I never took the Gears of War storyline seriously. I don't believe it's to be taken seriously. It's a very silly story when you get right down to it. Even when Dom died, it's like, that wasn't sad to me. They tried their best to make it sad, but it's such an arcadey type game that I never took it seriously. You know what I mean? You've never played The Last of Us. The Last of Us is a very mature game, but that's a game I would let you play. That's a game I feel that you'd be able to experience as a young lad. GTA, nah, definitely don't need to be playing that. I feel it's a lot more than video games. I'm not going to say that video games don't play any role, because I feel every mind is different, especially young minds, and young minds are susceptible to different things. So if somebody's playing video games all day along with all the other sewage on the internet, especially, you know what, there's certain things I don't want to talk about in front of, even though he's in public schools, I'm not dumb. You know what I mean? I know the crap that he and his friends talk about in public schools. Think about some of the crap we talked about in public schools. I'm not stupid, but it's my job as a parent to make sure that there's not an overabundance or an oversaturation of this crap going into his head constantly. You know what I mean? I have to watch him. I have to make sure he doesn't spend all day playing video games. You know what I mean? I have to make sure he doesn't spend all day with his face in his tablet. Well, what do I let you watch? KidsTube? What do you usually watch on KidsTube?
Mario Maker videos mainly.
Mario Maker videos. He watches these people on YouTube that I can't even believe he watches them. But it's like, you know what? Now I see why all these adults act like little kids. It's so these little kids will watch them. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a big majority of people watching YouTube are little kids. All right, so how about this? Do you feel that video games, just shooting games, forget violent video games, do you feel video games make you violent?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
What does not really mean?
It's like, I get it, how it's got like some part, because I mean, if you're really just that dumb and you believe that somebody's gonna respawn after you kill them, but but we're human beings and we're that smart, so I don't feel like anybody's gonna kill somebody and think they're gonna respawn.
That's not really what I'm asking. When I say violent, like a lot of people say that these violent video games are training you to kill. Do you believe that?
No.
You don't believe that?
No.
Why not?
Well,
You don't feel like you could pick up a gun and just know how to use a gun because you've played Call of Duty?
in Call of Duty, it basically teaches you how to reload.
It teaches you how to reload?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah? So do you think there is some truth to that it does train you to kill?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You do think that?
Yeah, but it's not like, I understand if you're screwed up in the head to do something like that, but if I were to go to war or something and I'm in the military, I mean, I feel like that does more good than harm, because you'll start off fresh and you'll know how to reload a gun.
I had no idea what he was going to say in all this, you know what I mean? So this is good. This is like good, honest feedback from a 12-year-old mind that plays video games. Now see, I never thought about that. He says it teaches you to reload. I guess in a way, it kind of does. I never thought about that. You know what I mean? Again, I would never say they don't play any role. I believe it's all about parenting. I believe it's watching your kids. I believe a lot of these shooters are, number one, they're mentally ill. Okay, they got psychological issues. There ain't no doubt about that. You can read your kids. You can tell what your kids can and can't handle. You know? When I see this one right here yelling and screaming at the video games, what do I tell you to do?
Stop.
What else do I tell you to do?
Just get off.
Get off the game. You know what I mean? That's not healthy. And when he looks back at me, or you haven't really seen my videos, but when I'm yelling at the screen, I really try to control that in front of my little man, because as an adult, when you're yelling at a video game, that's very, very, very immature, and it sets a very bad example. It's enraging. You know it is. I'm going to tell you this. If violent video game, I don't think video games are violent. Honestly, I really don't. What violent video games? Call of Duty to me is not violent. I've been asking for a violent video game because all these games feel like kiddie games to me. Call of Duty feels like a childish game. The Last of Us feels like a mature rated game. Red Dead Redemption 2 feels like a mature rated game. Even God of War doesn't really feel mature when you factor in the enemies that you're killing. You know what I mean? It feels just very like Fable-like, just with a cool-ass character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Violent. As far as violent, Max Payne 3 was a violent video game. I don't feel like the majority of you young people are playing these games. I think you're way off the mark. Again, I'm not one of these gamers who are like, oh my God, they're after our game. If they ban violent video games, people, I don't give a crap. I play less and less games as time goes on. In the next few years, with the way video games are going, I might not even be playing video games anymore. And I got this in my mind. I'll find something else to do. Ban them. Whatever, man. You know what I mean? As long as you just save me money, that's all you're going to do. Now, my YouTube channel throughout time, yes, I've gotten paid, but I still ain't gotten anywhere near the amount of money back that I've spent on game systems, PCs, video games in general. I ain't gotten that money back. You know what I mean? So video games are going to just save me money. But you're way off the mark, because video games as a whole that these kids are playing, I don't feel is violent. Fortnite isn't violent. I feel the interactions you have with the other people online is more harmful than the actual gameplay itself. Some of the crap these kids are saying to each other, absolutely terrible. So you're losing the game. You got these people talking crap. You combine that with the internet. Also, how much of it is going on in a day? How much are you letting your kids play in a day? If they play all day, if all they're doing is taking in all this crap all day, then they're on the internet, looking at God knows what. I can't believe nobody... You're pointing to the video games. I'm talking like Trump's going to see this video. Trump's pointing to the video games. The internet and social media are the real problem. Think about it. What do all these shooters have in common? What do they all look like to you? Outcasts, nerds, secluded. They're probably depressed out of their mind, anxious, you know what I mean? Enraged. They live with this rage inside of them. And I'm not going to say the video games don't enhance that, don't exploit it. They don't get some sick sense of satisfaction out of playing GTA. I can't say that, because it is possible. It absolutely is possible. But to say the video games are responsible, that's just silly. It is a combination of several different things, just the way the world is today, the broken family, the drugs, like I said, the internet, all these things combined create a perfect storm. You got these kids with little confidence, suicide rates are through the roof, kids have no self-esteem, especially if they're outcasts, young girls, and young boys too, but young girls, if you're a young boy, girls can be very, very vicious to you. When I was young, I asked out a lot of girls, and I was very awkward looking. I got rejected brutally, very brutally, and this hurts, man. It hurts you. It's hard to get over. I remember I had big buck teeth as a kid. You know what I mean? Big teeth. And like my little man, he's got some teeth action going, and he's self-conscious about it. You know what I mean? And I try to be very honest with my kids. As soon as he can get braces, I'm gonna get them for him. We're gonna get them fixed up. We're gonna put you on the weights. We're gonna have you tip top, baby. Believe that. You're gonna be tip top. You ain't gonna go through what I went through. These things can hurt you. I remember walking up to a girl. I was at a dance in 6th grade. It was like a little dance. You remember those little dances we used to do? And I walk up to this girl. She's looking at me. She's smiling. This is before I walked up. My boys are like, hey, she likes you. And I'm thinking, no way. No way she likes me. So I walked up to her. They're like, go ask her out. Go ask her out. So I walked up to her and I tapped her on her shoulder. And she turned around and she's like, I automatically felt like I should have abandoned because of the way she looked at me. Like, what do you want? Like, is how she was looking at me. And she's got her friends there. And I was like, would you like to dance? And she goes, I don't dance with teeth. Ah! And they all started laughing. People, that crap, that does something to you, okay? That does something to you. And if you're weak-minded, that can really hurt a weak mind, okay? I have all kinds of stories like that. That's another video in of itself. That does stuff to you. I didn't have access to the internet. I didn't have access to the sewage that these kids are looking at. I didn't have access to these video games. I didn't have access to being able to just talk crap online and have all this crap being said back to me. I didn't have access to none of this. You know what I mean? I didn't have access to these types of drugs or nothing like that. My parents didn't put me on no medication, Ritalin or whatever else they got these kids on these days. So I feel like that type of frailty, that type of, I don't want to say abuse, but that kind of rejection. When you feel rejected and you're secluded and you have all this poison that comes from the internet in your life and all you're doing is sucking this up. I think it's a perfect storm, all this crap combined. To just separate video games is silly. It really is. And I feel like I've just, sat you here and not really gotten your point of view here. But what do you have anything you'd like to add?
Not really.
Other than me talking?
Not really.
Do you feel like an outcast at school?
No. I have a lot of friends.
Yeah, your sister told me that. She said, this guy here will go up and talk to anybody. That's how I was when I was young. It didn't matter who. I'll go up and I'll talk. Very, very social. So, let's close it out. What do you got to say? They banned violent video games. What you going to do?
I'm just going to resort to Mario.
Just going to resort to Mario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People ain't going to ban violent video games. They're just not going to do it. I don't know, man. I feel like I wanted to ask you something else. What do you look at on the internet?
Well, I don't have the internet.
You don't have the internet.
I don't look at it.
Do you have a phone?
No.
Does your sister have a phone?
Yes.
Does she look on the internet?
I don't know.
Oh.
But I am around her most of the time, and all she's doing is just watching her stupid little movie. So.
What movies she watch?
Garfield or something.
Garfield. So, in closing, that's my thought process. Do video games cause shooters? No. I think it's the way the world is now. I think there's a lot of twisted individuals. I think giving them an audience. I think broadcasting them all over the news. You know what I mean? Showing them their little manifestos, reading this crap out. That's another problem. They're sitting back, they want to be known, they're lonely, they want to impose their will. You guys are going to know me. They're mad at the world and they want to be the next big thing. This is their chance because they don't feel like they'll be able to be anything else. And they got no concept of human life. So to sit there and blame video games is very, very stupid. And don't even get me started about the stopping the mass shooters before they start by using social media. People, dear God. Look, I don't really want to badmouth Trump too bad because God knows he gets enough of that as it is, but those were very, very silly statements. So, anything you want to add? Anything you want to close out, buddy?
Not much.
Huh?
Just want to add what I would do without violent video games. I would just resort to Mario.
Right, yeah, you said that. What if you were getting bullied at school? Let's say you were getting bullied at school by a kid. Would you tell me? Or would you be embarrassed to tell me?
Well, I'd probably tell you because I want to work out so I could come back and beat the crap out of that kid.
Right. Would you wanna use a weapon on this kid?
No.
No?
No. I would not want to take a knife and then stab a living human being. It's not what I would want to do.
But you would want to beat the crap out of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
You put your hands on me, I'm going to come back.
You put your hands on me and win, you're going to come back.
Hmm?
Right? All right, everybody. Long video. I don't know how long this is. Holy crap. I got to edit this. All right, baby. All right, baby boy. Do you see how my pinky landed? What is this, never-ending story? Unicorns. They were unicorns.